You have the power to change the world. That's a cliché probably all of you have heard before. Therefore, I would like to start off with a question. By show of hands, how many of you here feel they have the power to change the world? Okay, that's quite some, that's very good. And of those who just raised their hands, how many of you already know how you're going to do that? That's also some, that's really excellent. So, we here today, we are the lucky ones. We are living in a wealthy Western European country. We have the ability to go to school, to be who we are, chase our dreams, and be the best version of ourselves that we can be. But there's still a problem when we talk about changing the world. And that problem is power. I just asked you, how many of you feel they have the power to change the world? Because that's what got to do, right? Power. The formula is quite simple. You acquire power, therefore you're able to exercise that power and impose your ideas on the world. The greater your power, the bigger your impact. For instance, a mayor who decides to run for national office will widen his sphere of influence from solely the municipality to the country as a whole. So why is this a problem when we talk about changing the world? It is a problem because youth do not hold this power. We are living in a world where almost every country at least pretends to have a democracy. I mean, even North Korea is officially called Democratic People's Republic of Korea. So let's take a look at the presence of youth in the main decision-making body of a democracy, the parliament. Out of all parliamentarians worldwide, only 1.65% is under the age of 30. 30. Well, this is what that looks like in visual. See the tiny red sliver of red there in the far-hand corner? Well, that's us represented in Parliament. So, because I personally love graphs, I also looked up for you the amount of parliamentarians under the age of 40. And this is an astounding 11.9%. But at least we get to see the color red here, so that's nice. So, how does this compare with the world's demographic? Well, there are approximately 7.2 billion people on Earth. Out of the 7.2 billion, 1.4 are considered youth. That is being between the ages of 15 and 24, like we are here today. So if youth were to be accurately represented in parliaments, this previous graph would look more like this. Because 20% of the parliamentarians should be under the age of 25 if we were to be represented in parliament. But youth and power have always had this really difficult relationship because there will be no politician who will openly be against youth participation. I mean, we have all heard the speeches. Youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Youth are innovative and creative. We need youth, etc., etc. And the problem isn't so much with a lack of incentive. The problem is a lack of execution. I remember that, I think about a month ago, I was at a UNESCO conference in Paris, and you should know that the UN has this organization-wide structure for youth participation, and one of the first slides at the opening of the conference that popped up said, out of 150 participants, 31 are youth. So everybody applauded the organization for such a great youth involvement. However, nothing was actually arranged for actual participation besides just being there as a young person. So we took it upon ourselves and we set up some youth meetings and drafted youth recommendations there that we wanted to present at the closing session of the conference. So I remember that I went to talk with the organization there, and one thing I remember very clearly is the look of utter surprise on the face of the woman standing in front of me, because we didn't just settle for being there, but we actually wanted to participate and say something as well. So I myself studied political culture, so basically I have kept myself busy past years with studying power relations, but it wasn't until that exact moment that I got that power isn't about those who have it. Power is about those who don't have it. But I started my talk with saying that you have the power to change the world. And you do. Because the power I just told you about is only half of the story. And we are going to change the world by the other half, the half that people in power don't like to talk about. It is the strength of soft power. Because imagine how good it would be if you yourself can make your world a little bit better, even without having a seat in parliament or being a fancy CEO of a multinational or being a celebrity. I mean, you can still all do those things. It just isn't a prerequisite for changing the world. So, me myself, being quite the aspiring world changer, I have encountered that it takes 3 things if we want to change the world. And I call these the 3 Ds: dream, dare, and determination. First, you need a dream. Everyone here has dreams. If you close your eyes and think about how you want the world to look like, what you want the world to look like, that's your dream. Your dream is the thing that sparks you, that ignites you, that motivates you. Your dream can be to eradicate that one injustice that gets your blood boiling or brings tears to your eyes. Second, you need dare. You need dare and courage to share your dream with others, to speak up for your dream, to get it out there. And third, you need determination. So 25 years ago, the sports brand Nike launched this campaign, the Just Do It campaign. And those 3 words hold more truth than shelves full of academic books. Because that's the key to all change. Just do it. But perhaps even more important, keep doing it. So, I'm at a crossroads here now, because I want to share with you a little bit of my personal story. But I'm torn, because I can tell you the story of how I went from being just a young gay girl in a religious conservative town, ashamed of whom I was, and wanting so desperately to be normal, to now being a youth advocate at the United Nations. And it is my story to tell. It is my life. But it doesn't feel like me, because this is a story of a linear tale. It looks like this. Straightforward and full of promise. While for me, and I think for you as well, our lives look a little bit more like this. Little less straightforward, but still full of promise and color. So, how does this compare with the 3 Ds we just talked about? I think we can compare it with growing a plant. And for those of you here who also don't have a green thumb like me, we know it can be quite hard. But okay. I'm going to introduce you to my dream. This is my dream. It is my tree. I like oaks, so I went with that. So we can envision the dream as this beautiful tree. But I didn't just wake up one day and ran into my tree in the backyard. A tree needs to grow, and it starts with a little seed. That little seed is the start of your dream. It is what I just said. It is your drive, your motivation, your spark. It is the push you need to have to change the world. And not all of us are born with a dream. I for sure know that I wasn't. But we encounter things in life that creates this little tiny seeds. But a seed is just that, a seed. It isn't a tree, it's a seed. To get to this beautiful tree, to my beautiful oak, we need nutritious earth. You need water and sunlight. That is the second D. It's dare. You need bravery to create the environment for your little seed, for your dream, to grow and prosper. The environment it needs, but also the environment it just deserves. Dare is needed to get your idea out there. Because society teaches us as children that we have to be quiet and sit down. Well, I'm going to tell you today that no change has ever come from being quiet, and I think the only change that has come from sitting down has been by Rosa Parks. So, stand up for your dream and speak up. Be bold and be brave. But you know as well as I do that this tree doesn't grow overnight. And it's gonna see some difficulties. Like, for instance, a severe case of pesticides, or a very resilient family of squirrels that keep stealing your nuts. But perseverance almost always wins out. And that is a third D, determination. And with those three, we can get to this beautiful oak. So my tree stands for my dream. And my dream is that every child in the world, no matter gender, sexual orientation, or background, wherever in the world he or she lives, gets the opportunity to be who they are, to receive an education, and follow their dreams. I want to change the world by fighting for this. I am changing the world by fighting for this. And sure, there have been times where I didn't think I could do it. But you know what? I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Changing the world doesn't start with the world. It starts with you. And yes, you may not have this hard power we just talked about. And yes, the road ahead may sometimes seem difficult or even impossible. But I want all of us to leave here today and choose to plant that seed, to add dare and determination. Because then, you all will be changing yourself. And that is where the creation of a better world starts, with the creation of a better self. Thank you.